Welcome to another safety short video. I'm Ken Kostanek, a health and safety advisor with the Motor Safety Association here in Regina, Saskatchewan. Today I'm going to talk to you about first aid stations and the requirements associated with them. Based on legislated requirements, an employer must provide and maintain a readily accessible first aid station to every work site. First, a competent person must conduct a workplace first aid risk assessment. This will determine the appropriate classification of first aid kit or kits required for your place of employment. This classification will indicate the type of first aid kit that is required, either a type 1, 2, or 3 for your first aid station, along with the number of first aid attendants needed for the size of your workplace. First aid attendants will require recertification training every 3 years. This is to ensure that the information needed is current and that your first aid attendants remain confident in their abilities to render first aid when needed. Remember, MSA can provide you with a first aid risk assessment form and are able to assist you in the completion of the form if requested. Once the first aid risk assessment form is completed, it must be kept with the first aid kit at your first aid station. The first aid risk assessment form must be reviewed annually by a competent person and whenever there is a significant change in business activities, departments, or tasks. Secondly, a suitable first aid manual must be made available to the staff at your first aid station. Thirdly, the employer shall ensure that any other supplies and equipment required by the occupational health and safety regulations must be made available at your first aid station. This would include the first aid register. Regarding the first aid register, the employer must ensure that the cover page is filled out. Each first aid treatment administered to a worker while at work and each case referred to medical attention must be recorded in the first aid register. The employer must also ensure that the first aid register is readily available for inspection by the Occupational Health Committee, the representative, or Occupational Health and Safety Officer. A first aid register that is no longer in use shall be retained at your place of employment for a period of not less than 5 years from the date of its last use. Let's talk about your first aid station. The location of your first aid station must be clearly and conspicuously identified in the workplace and on any site maps posted throughout the facility. It is recommended to avoid locating your first aid station and first aid kit in a washroom, as this could restrict access to the first aid supplies in the event of an emergency. An emergency procedure must be developed and displayed at your first aid station. This procedure should include an emergency telephone list or instructions for reaching the nearest fire, police, ambulance, physician, hospital, or other appropriate service. If a worker becomes entrapped or incapacitated in a situation that may be dangerous to any person involved in the rescue operation, an effective written procedure for the rescue of that worker must be developed and posted at your first aid station. Please take a tour of our website at www.motorsafety.ca for information on who we are, the services that we provide, and what types of discounts are available to our members. MSA members can qualify for discounts from St. John Ambulance on first aid kits and first aid training. If you have any questions regarding this safety short video or on any other safety related concerns, please feel free to contact the Motor Safety Association at 1-306-721-0688 or by email at info@motorsafety.ca. Thank you for taking the time to watch our safety short video and have a great day.